it. Change settings, so maybe I'm not gonna have so much of the same issues. What, Jake? I know, Jake. I know, Jake. Thank you. Jake, you just have to hit refresh. You just have to hit refresh. So my old brother, who was watching the camera, I guess, or watching it on his phone, I'm not sure, was telling me that the camera froze, or his camera froze. So we'll see. What I'm doing right now is I'm trying to figure out where Mama Bunny. She moved her babies. It's fine. I'm glad she moved her babies because I didn't really like where they were at. I'm just kind of curious where she moved them to. So we'll see, guys. No idea. No idea. Cool. But again, I was gonna show you babies, but I have no idea where she moved them to. So we will figure it out. I'll discover where the babies are hiding around at some point in the future. But right now, we are just going to keep going on and feeding. I'm going to take a quick little peek around just to see if I happen to see them anywhere. I'm kind of interested. Okay, so far I have no idea. Like, I don't have the slightest idea even where to begin to look, so. Anyways, thanks, Mark. We're gonna see if this makes anything better now. Like I said, I redid the settings, and who knows? Okay, everybody here's been fed. Everybody here's got water. And there's the stupid setting things again. So let's go over to the other barn. I think it's this place. I think that where I'm at in here, I think the bunny barn is a crazy vortex of internet says no. So we're going to leave here, and we're going to head over someplace else and see if we're gonna head over to that. We're gonna head over to the main barn, get everybody watered and fed in there. Ooh, we do need to give Sylvia some food. So let's we'll come back. Let's get these guys watered in here. Then we'll give Sylvia food afterwards. So Mark, since you're here, I'm curious, how does the audio sound? Does it sound traditionally better than when I normally do this? Is it worth? Is the sound, or anybody else that happens to be watching it right now, is the sound worth the little extra that I'm attempting to do to try to make it a little better for everyone? Okay. I'm also wondering if now that I've got the mic on my face, if it makes the sound. Audio is okay, but not better. Okay. I mean, the reason I'm asking is, like, when I walk away like this, sometimes when I walk away from the camera, you guys can't hear me, but you should actually be able to hear me now. So if the issue is the quality of the microphone, then that is an addressable issue. If the issue is you can't actually hear me as I walk away and wander aimlessly, that's another issue. So, and And that's kind of why I just did that experiment right there to see if that makes any difference. Okay, looking at, it's glitchy when I'm further away. Okay, so the answer to that is it's the quality. So the answer is if I get too far away, the whole purpose of what I'm trying to do here is not going to work. So this is a absolute failed. Well, let me just double check. Let me make sure that we're good. Maybe if I don't put this in my pocket, maybe if I have this, like, you know, if I make antennas work the way antennas are supposed to work, you know, where they're sticking out and doing their thing, maybe that will improve the thing, because, you know, it is kind of silly, you know, now that I have the antenna, you know, doing what antennas are supposed to do, antennaing out. So, okay. I still like the idea of setting up a whole system here in the barn. So while I'm in this barn, I can do just a whole show and have better and wear headphones and actually know I have good quality. That is, I just have to figure out in here. Me and Mark's talking about like the weather and how cold it gets and that kind of stuff. Like where to get everything set up to make it work the way I want, because it does get kind of chilly in here. So, because right now it's 41F or 5C. So, important things to consider is your electronics. So, Mark, is it still, as I wander over this way, is it still getting really glitchy and still sounding bad, or because I brought the mic out, because I brought the antenna out, are we at least a little bit better? Again, guys, you guys, you know, get to go through this fun experiment to see if I think this new tactic of what I'm trying is good, bad, fun experiment, horrible experiment, if it was silly, if whatnot. So, mark my 90. So, it does look like the internet is more stable in here, which is good. That means it's not quite as bad. So, okay, cool. Thank you for that experiment, Mark. I'm glad we now know. So, answer to my question is, this is just not going to work. Because, so, a lot of you might not know this, but Prism does not allow you to use Bluetooth. And I can't be tethered to my phone because I move around too much. So just trying to find a better quality alternative than those two options. So, if anybody out there in internet lands, if you guys know of a good quality radio frequency mic, non-Bluetooth mic, that would be cool. I will be more than interested to check that out. Thanks. Yeah, it's another experiment to try to improve the quality of the audio, but it's not working as good as I was hoping. So, again, always trying to improve what we're doing here to make things more fun, exciting, entertaining, make my life easier. Honestly, it's about making my life a little bit easier as well. So it's snowy day. Well, you guys will see the snow in a few minutes. If you've just tuning in, you've missed it. I think we're stable internet now. For some reason, in that barn over there, in the bunny barn, the internet just doesn't like cell phone coverage and the internet just doesn't like to live in there, which is something good to keep in mind. If I ever do need to get to a good place where I'm not being bombarded by internet and bombarded by Wi-Fi and all that kind of stuff, I do know now that the bunny barn is a good option. And, ooh, guys, this actually might be worth testing this year. To get a beehive and put a beehive inside that. I can mount one right inside the window so that the bees can fly in and out of the window and they can still get all the protection of the metal building. We might be onto something, guys. We might be onto something fun because I wanted to convert that building anyways. So we might be onto some new experiment to try. Oh, I did check the lounge bees. So those are the bees that were the porch bees that weren't doing very well. So I brought them in the house, and they're living in my the room that I spend most of the time in. I checked on them today, and they looked good. So excited about the lounge bees. Excited to see that they're still well. I listened. I listened to 2 of the hives outside yesterday, or maybe day before yesterday, not long ago, and I could hear a little bit of buzzing in the 2 hives that are around. The 2 hives that are around the house, in the spot that I am speculating is going to be a good spot for hives. So, and I like the idea of putting converting the bunny barn into the bee barn. So I think that might be what we do. We're gonna start off with just 1 hive in there though, just because I don't want to. We got lots of experiments to do next year with the hives, because it looks like probably just to be safe, to do proper experiments, I'm probably going to have to buy 5 hives next. I'm going to probably buy 5 hives this year, regardless of how many survive. I have 4 hives right now. We'll see how many of that survive. I started off the year, I bought 6, turned that 6 into 10. Turned the 6 into 9. Somebody gave me a hive, so I ended up having 10. And then then the hives just ran away. So we're down to 4. So we got lots of speculation. You guys, we'll talk more about that when it becomes better bee season. But I think I'm going to buy 5 hives, and each of those 5 hives I'm going to do slightly different experiments with. We're going to set up a control hive. We're going to set up a hive in different locations, and we're going to try some of the different experiments again this year. And we're going to treat them all the same. I'm going to treat every hive, whatever I do with one hive, I'm going to do with the other. Kind of like I did this year, except for I did have a hive that I didn't do anything with. I just kind of let it go feral and just see what it did on its own. And I don't think I'm going to do that again this year. So, again, I have all that documented, so I'm not too, it's all about trying to figure out what's going on here and get the best data possible and see if it's user error, if it's something uniquely with the nature, if it's a strand of bees that I'm getting, or what it possibly could be. But we're going to get this all figured out. So yeah, so I'm on the fence about I've really thought a lot about wrapping the bees in metal, like we've talked about. We were going to do lead last year, and we were going to do copper, and we are going to do stuff. But the more I read stuff about that, the more I read some of the downfalls to doing that. So I might end up doing that with one of the hives. I might try tin, copper, lead, something like that. But I'm on the fence. I'm really on the fence about that. I think something that might be more useful is I want to try to get like a thick, not necessarily for an insulation, but like something thick that stops radio frequency from penetrating further in. So I've been looking at some different types of stones because I want it to also be breathable for the bees. That's the other trick, is I don't want to try to make something. I don't want to make something that kind of traps the bees in there and traps the moisture and traps stuff. I have to find that more natural thing, that way that nature would work with it, and rocks might be the trick there. lot of quackiness at my feet. I don't know if you guys, some of you might not have seen, might not realize how much quackiness is at my feet, and I forgot I can't do that with the gimbal on here. Sorry, guys. I totally forgot that. I don't know why I'm looking at it. It's, you know, electrically taped to my phone, but, you know, duh. Forgot that, you know, happens. I'm silly sometimes. Yeah, well, I'm gonna put it in the old shed. I'm gonna put it in the bunny shed, and I'm just gonna I'm gonna put it right by the door so the bees can easily get in and out. And that's kind of like wrapping it in. That's kind of like wrapping it in lead, but it's not necessary, or wrapping it in tin, but not necessarily just the hive. The hive can still do its breathing and such like that. So that's something that's something worth trying and such. Again, I'm open. I'm going to review. All this gets archived. All the chats gets archived on Discord. So by the way, guys, if you're not part of the Discord, !Discord, come on and join with us. And yeah, all this stuff is archived. So in the future, if I'm trying to remember what we had awesome conversations about, I can jump on the Discord and I can see what we were talking about, and I can remember that different people's giving me different ideas that we want to try. So. Let's see, will you balance there? Will you balance there? And the answer is kind of. Hopefully no guys jump up there and knock you guys down. I'm precariously balancing you. If you guys really saw how many things that I just, you know, kind of set my phone on and make it balance in weird ways, you'd probably laugh a lot, because lots of silliness. Okay. Okay, let's go. I'm going to go get some rabbit feed over under that little bag that you see over there. By the way, guys, that is a first aid kit. One of the things that's very vitally important to have in your barns is make sure you have a first aid kit. You never know if you need it for you or your animals. So my first aid kits are kind of set up for dual purposes, so they're for our animals and for us. But something that I think a lot of people overlook when they have a barn, when they have animals, is a dual purpose first aid kit. Crazy barn day. So you guys out there in internet lands, when I do feed the chicken, some of you guys watch it fairly often. What kind of stuff would you actually like to see? Like, is there stuff I'm not showing you that you would like to see with what we do? Is there something you'd like me to get more in depth with? Because some days I just don't really know what to talk about. So some days I just try to, you know, you're just with me on the adventure and just kind of enjoying it with me. But other days I'd like to try to, you know, really get in there and talk about stuff that people might want to learn more about. And so if there's things that you guys want to know more about, there's things that you'd like me to specialize and talk about when we're doing this. I haven't done an evening show. Like you guys know, I used to do Thursday night shows and such like that. I just haven't got my camera set up right. Ever since I moved my rooms around, I just haven't got the camera set up right. I can't. I'm not happy with the quality of the video, and unless I'm experimenting with something like we're doing today, I don't really like to do half-ass shows. It's just not. One, I want to be able to look back on it and be like, oh yeah, that was cool. I did a good job there. And so once I know something is not quite to par, but soon I've got some ideas. Like I said, we got the idea. We're going to do a show in here. I'm going to set a camera and such up, and it's going to be awesome. Little rooster in here. This cage right here, the one with all of the babies are grown up now. That is absolutely one of the cages in here that I just did not find the balance of the deep litter right. So for those that don't know, you keep hearing me talk about deep litter. You know, it's like, what is this balance of deep litter? So what deep litter is deep litter is a way to set up your chicken coop, a way to set up a barn so that you're actually quickly turning, you're letting the chickens and such turn everything into compost for you, and you're keeping all of the negative stuff, like you're keeping the fungal, you're keeping the bacterial, you're keeping all of that to a minimum by layering it like a lasagna. So things that you do is you put in like sand and wood chips, and some people use pine needles, and other people use leaves, and then some hay, and then you have it set up so that when animals get in there, they're digging it up, they're turning the compost, but you've got other things in there. You might put some diatomaceous earth. You've got other things in there so that it keeps the smell down, it keeps the feces down, but then the ammonia smell, that's the pee smell that you smell, it keeps all that down because it's all being recycled in and such like that. Yes, Terry, a poop lasagna is exactly what you're doing. And you're also making really absolutely spectacular soil. And you're having to do less work because the animals are doing most of the work. The animals are doing most of the work for you by doing all of that. And we all know I like my animals to work for me. Really, guys, just knock everything over. Such a crazy mess sometimes, these silly, crazy mess of... Every year, me and Lisa figure out a different, better, smarter, easier way to make things function. And every year it gets easier and easier to make to make our barn function the way we want. So I'm not sure what we added this particular. Oh yeah, we added. This year was a little bit more chaotic because this is the year that we added a lot more bunnies into here. Because the idea is in the very near future we're going to try to condense most of our animals down to 2 barns instead of 3 barns the way it's currently set up. Mostly doing that because it definitely makes things easier when we don't have to go to all the barns. And so that's why we're talking a lot about the bunny barn and getting the bunny barn converted to something else. Plus, I am going to, as we hope to get interns and such in the near future, we need more and more space for supplies and for all of the new types of activities that we plan to do here on the labs and such. Oh, I'm not sure where I'm going to put you guys so you don't get knocked over. Well, I think you guys are going to go here, and we're going to see what happens. Yeah, that's where we're going to sit for right now. Really, guys, you just had to knock that over, didn't you? Watch out, duck, duck. I don't know if you guys can tell, like, the ducks are flying around, and I'm just super surprised that you guys have yet been knocked over. Ugh. Okay, so everyone is now fed, so now we can get to the most important part is making sure that everybody, there we go, so you guys look at that. Let's get you back up into where you need to be. Now the most important part, we're going to make sure everybody has water, so I'm going to go around, give everybody water. Which it looks like I'll probably have to go in the house and get another thing of water, unfortunately. But so be life, guys. So will be life. By the way, guys, you guys see that I use those scoopers. These kind of things work great for the chickens, especially with the tactics. So you guys saw, I thought about trying to go to these cups. These are silicone. These are little silicone cups. So even these, which these are a half a cup or 125 milliliters, these are actually just a little too small. So we're probably going to repurpose these for something else. It was a fun experiment. It was something worth trying. I really like the squishiness of this because it makes things easier. These are what I prefer to use for waterers, these rubberized ones, but it's hard to find the rubberized ones made in America. And the main reason is the ones that are made in China just have a horrible smell and take way too long to get that horrible smell gone. And if they smell horrible, then there's got to be something probably not exactly right with them. So we're going back to the other tactic. I've done the regular waterers, you know, where you screw on the tops, and those freeze. And I'll show you guys what I'm talking about. Some of you maybe have no idea what I'm talking about. So you guys have probably seen the waterers, and you have these on top, and then they screw onto a lid. The problem is that when these get too cold, they freeze and they crack, and then you're kind of just, I don't know, it's not very good. So what we've been doing is me and Lisa's found that these, and see, this is the problem with these, is they crack over time, so I'm going to have to replace this one tomorrow. But we use these, and they seem to do a really good job. So how we do these is we have one inside, and then you put this inside. That way, only like when you take this out and like this one broke because of ice, you can then take this one and throw this away, and you still got your container. And it stays elevated off the ground, doesn't tip. So it's like that. So this right now is our go-to, is what we've been doing. Let me switch out that with the food, because I do the same thing with the food. The food goes in one and that kind of stuff. Okay, so swap that out. And that's kind of our current go-to. It's the most cost-effective way that we found. Plus, you still have a little bit of waste, but not as much waste as if one of these. You know, if one of these break, you're out quite a bit of money. If you're out that, you're out a couple cents. Especially if you've got multiple. multiple animals. So I do hope to find a silicone replacement or a rubber replacement, something that is about 16 ounces, 32 ounces, that I can ultimately use instead of those. Something that also can does a good job of being able to manipulate when it freezes. So because where I live here, we do have to always thinking about winter and thinking about things freezing. If you don't have a lot of animals, then you might actually be able to do the ones that plug in. But with, you know, see, 3, 6, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 22 cages in here. And we have about 30 cages total. Like, that's just a lot. That'd be a lot of extension cords. That runs a lot of risk of rabbits getting in there and chewing them and causing more and more fire hazards. I already have enough wires running around here. Would prefer not to, you know, I already need to redo the wiring in here to make it a smidget safer. Every year I kind of make it a little bit safer. I'm really happy with the layout that we have now, so I think I can probably make it permanent. Right now we're mostly just using extension cords, but I ultimately want to hardwire. I'm going to come in here and I'm going to hardwire this barn. So, and what I mean by hardwire is just put it permanent. Just run sockets and connect everything the way it should be, as if you were, you know, wiring inside conduit, and not use extension cords. And I probably put a breaker or two in here too, just for extra precaution. Ultimately, right now the house is powering this building, but one of the other things that we want to do in the future, some of you guys know, is that we want to be able to try to power this building on its own by wind, some type of turbine. It's probably the best way to put it. Let's just say some type of turbine. So we've got some ideas. We talked about building a pond up on top of the mountain. We talked about water catchment. We've talked about wind. We talked about solar. We've talked about a bunch of other stuff. Trying to figure out what's cost effective. Because the other thing I try to do here, guys, is everybody can just spend a lot of money on a project and show that, you know, oh yeah, if you've got lots of money in your pocket, you can be a really successful, awesome farmer. And one, I don't have a lot of money in my pocket. But two, that kind of defeats the purpose of trying to teach you guys how to, that everyone can be a farmer, that everyone can raise some animals, that everybody can do the homesteading. And the only way that's possible is also help that are on, you know, fixed incomes, on low incomes. So, part of what we teach here is everybody's going to have a different experience. Everybody's going to have a different opportunity. But how to look at the opportunities that you're being offered and take advantage of them, and take advantage of those opportunities and thrive inside those opportunities. I don't know about you guys, but I don't want to just have an okay life. I want to have an awesome life. I want to have control. You know, part of the reason I I chose to give up the rat race and sacrifice and do the stuff that I'm currently doing is not to lower my quality of life and not to, say that I'm, living in squalor, but to find ways to enhance my life, to enjoy being alive. And so figuring out ways to do that and ways to extrapolate that so other people can do it. We're really looking to try to achieve. Oh, here we go again, guys. Sorry. I don't know what happened there. I don't know if okay, I don't know if the duck over here hit it or the gimbal's just acting up. Okay, guys. I think we're gonna call it a day. So I just got to give Sylvia some food, and that's about it. Then I'm ready to head in. But yeah. Anyways, friends, thanks for joining me. It was a good time. Sorry we had all the technical issues. Oh, by the way, guys, it's also being rebroadcast on YouTube, so you can type in Mavis Manor 1897, and that is my Mavis Manor. That is my YouTube page. There's also going to be Mavis Manor at Odyssey. It's also documents and stuff on there. And you guys, most of you watch it on D Live, but I'm also on Twitch. So if any in the future something happens with D Live, also on Twitch is X Dr. Firefly, and any place else I can think about doing that. But again, I just want to thank you guys all for joining me on this fun adventure. So, and everybody that goes with me with all the craziness that happens every time I try something new. So until tomorrow, guys, it's Doc. Hope you guys have a wonderful rest of the day, and I'll see you guys later. Adios.